and welcome to Goddess 1207. I'm Linda and I thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to take a little tour of my boudoir and makeup room and relaxing area. It's right behind me and we're going to take a tour through it in just a moment. I would like to apologize for how badly I hold the camera. I tried to be good, and so I will throw some stills in case you're really interested in anything. But I use a small bedroom as my chill out area and it works out really well for me. Everybody makes disclaimers before they show their collections. My collection to me is huge. To most everybody else it's probably going to be very small. For example, wait till you see how many lip pencils I have. I did say plural, so there's more than one. So it's just the way I have it arranged from the very beginning of time. I've always wanted to sit to do makeup. I don't understand how people can stand to do it, or especially in a bathroom. I have to sit and have the mirror close to me, probably because I can't see very well. Since my hair is in intensive care today, I thought this would be a great day to show you my collection. And I hope you enjoy it. At the end of the collection, I'm going to have a little hodgepodge of other video opportunities for you, including some singing and some flying. So if you're interested, stay tuned for those at the end. Otherwise, let's get started with the boudoir. So this is my boudoir, as we call it. In Texas, it's a boudoir, but I'll try to class it up for you. And it is just a bedroom, a small bedroom. And I'm so fortunate to have this space, but I have some Asian art on the wall. These are some lovely ladies. They're prints. I love those two girls, the geisha getting ready. I thought that was appropriate for my boudoir. And this is another, it's another, what do you call it? You call it season. It's another season. And then we have a little area here. I try to put pretties out and change it every once in a while. Right now I'm sort of on Asian things, and there's my little baby when she 30 years ago or more. And this is a beautiful piece of art by a fellow from Texas named Lance Lester, and next to him is a lovely Asian drawing, and it's from a calendar, and yes, it does say February 2008, but it's such a pretty thing, and it goes with the blue. And someday I plan to redo this wall and make it better. This all sits on top of my famous IKEA chest. When it came, some of the pieces were broken. So we reported that, and they were kind enough to send us new pieces, which were broken. So they eventually gave us back the shipping costs, but you can see my husband, Mr. Wonderful, who is so meticulous, he tried really hard using his best obsessive-compulsive skills to put it together correctly, and the lines on the drawer still don't line up too quite well, but we just love it anyway, we don't care. And finally, this is my chair made by Natuzzi, and you might say, sure does look like it's extended, and it is, because it won't close, or it will, but it takes a lot of work to make it close, but it vibrates and it is just delightful. And that table has an interesting history too. It is an original piece of school furniture from a high school where I worked for a while, and it was a typing table. And you may not know what a typing table is, but you used to take typing on a typewriter that was not electric. It sat on this table, and you would practice typing words. Cat, pat, sat, cat, pat, sat. And it was being thrown out, and so I stole it and brought it home. I'm starting to sound like a thief. Oh well, I'm glad you don't know where I live. Well, before we get to my makeup table, I thought I would show you what I see when I look out the window while I'm doing my makeup. And that geranium is still alive. But we have some lovely little landscape that we just put in, and it's really neat. And the rest of my house is over here, and you see that it's just lots of windows, 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 windows. And we love it. Now let's look at the makeup table itself. Okay, here's a big view of my makeup table where I do the assemblage of the makeup. And this is actually, this table was custom made for me, and it's on wheels, as you could see, so I can move it around, although it weighs a ton. And it's sort of really a manicurist station. I noticed that the manicurist had the most delightful table. I thought this would just be perfect, so I found out where they got them made, and I went and had one made for me. And it works fairly well. I have made a few updates to it, and of course it's all laminate covered, so it's not going to last forever, but it's working pretty well. And to the side you see I have my fan, because you know, some of us girls, we have to have that fan to keep us cool. And so now let's take a closer look. That mirror on the table to the right, the wooden one, was my grandfather's, and it is perfectly placed so that I can watch television looking one direction, and I look in the mirror and I can see the television behind me. It's amazing how many shows look weird when I actually watch them because they're not backwards. So here is the makeup table, and I have a regular mirror, and then I have this mirror that Jennifer made me buy. It's really cool. Let me show you how it works. You just get near it and it comes on. It's magic. And then after a few moments, it'll turn itself off. And it's a 5X, so unless I really want to see what's happening, I don't use it. You know what I'm saying? So on top of the makeup table, I have a few odds and ends here in a little tray. I'm really falling in love with this Codelay. I didn't say it, I'm sure as beautifully as other people, but it's the grape water, and I just love it. It probably does nothing, but makes me feel good. And the Natura Bissé hand cream that was really expensive. Here is a Sensei lip product in the giant economy size for giant lips that will last forever. Some nail junk, some Indie Lee products, and some Desert Essence. And then I have my styrofoam, which helps elevate the mirror. My 2 lights from IKEA. The 2 lamps from IKEA is turn off and on, never gets hot. And over here on this side, I have a few more essentials that I use every day. And the only one that's really important to look at is this little guy that. Whoop, and watch, it's so cool. Are you ready? That, my friends, is a blush. Is that gorgeous? And they're just loose. Came from Japan, cost $1 million. Never gonna use it, but it sure is pretty to look at. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Being happy and looking at pretty things. Okay, so on the left-hand side we have a door. On the door, I have written some words that I try to look at every day to remind myself to wear things that I have, and to remind myself if I'm the shepherd or the sheep, because I always seem to have to be the shepherd in charge of everybody. So I'm trying to let go of that. A little calendar on the bottom so I can look at that. And I look at this every day, and it has no impact on me, but I still look at it. Okay, so my husband made me these little roll-out shelves so that I could get to things. They're not full extension, but they work pretty well. And in the top drawer, I have my major essentials I look for first. That is some Indie Lee toner, decanted. Here's some Indie Lee squalene oil. That is a sample of some argan oil. Here's my favorite SPF, and I have some eye creams, and my Indie Lee eye cream is right here. Okay, on the second level of the slide out area, we have all of the brushes. Now, I don't know about you, but over the years, I have tried any number of ways of storing brushes. I've stuck them in beans. I stuck them in a carousel for utensils that you cook with. I stuck them in cans. But I finally come up with at least it's my favorite method at the moment, and that is to store them in ice cream containers. Yes, I know it's kind of weird. Let me show you. I'm doing a public service to help us eat Talente gelato. But it has a pretty square bottom, and it has a screw top, and it's nice and wide and tall at the same time, and it works really well. So I keep my brushes in these gelati containers because I can take them out and put them up on the desk, and then I can see all the brushes. I just have to see everything or I forget about them. So those are my eye brushes. And then I have all of the face brushes, all of Wayne's face brushes. I think I could send Wayne to Jamaica for a nice holiday with all the brushes that I bought from him. And I even went back and bought a few more of these small face brushes. I love them that they're small. So I keep them all there, and then I can put them away, and I do apologize for the ones that are dirty. Also in this area I keep my mascara. I'm sure that you can recognize lots of mascaras in there. And right now I'm playing with a bunch of mineral ones to see if I like them any better than the ones with chemicals. I have other junk literature that I keep. I have my coconut oil. I have a whole bunch of Indie Lee products down there for my storage and so forth. And that would be on the left side. In the center drawer, I have all of, well, yeah, I guess I have all of my lipsticks. And my sweetheart did give me full extension on this because I just need to get to the back to see everything. And so I have them sort of separated into things I'm going to wear right now, things that are for later in the next season, things that are really light and useless nudes, and then here are some fat pencils. But believe it or not, that is the total sum of my lip pencils. I think that makes 4, 2 per lip. And then up in the front I have little odds and ends. I really prefer, even with all those brushes, to use a nasty sponge. I buy them by the gallon, and I think that they work just fine. And I have some lip product. I have the Tata Harper and a Body Shop and some Vapor. And I use this little product on my nails sometimes. So I try to keep them as organized as possible, but they're not very organized, are they? And on the right, in the top drawer, I have powders. These are all my powders. La Mer. I took those meteorites out and put them in this thing because somebody very cleverly said, instead of running your brush around them, why don't you just shake up the container and loosen the powder and then just put your brush in it. So I'm trying that. And an hourglass, and this is Cornelia made me buy this by Terry. What do you call it? It has no color. Powder. And an old Chanel that I've had for 87 years. Well, okay, not 87. And then I have at the very front some of my favorite things that I try to remember to use, including the Tom Ford luminizer and all of the Sayuki stuff that I've talked about before. The problem with it, of course, is it all has the same exact packaging, which can drive a person crazy. That's the top drawer. The second drawer is all of my blushes. I try to keep the powders back here. Here's a cookie carton that I have things stuck in, and the palette and the powders. And up at the front are the creams and liquids. I really enjoyed using this Hourglass sponge applicator blush. It's fun. And I'm using this YSL one more and more. I like it. But let me tell you a bad story. This is the most beautiful
powder blush because what it is 2 Charlotte Tilburys that fell on the floor, completely broke apart. So I put them all together. I know this is heresy. Do not tell. Do not judge me. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful color. It's kind of scary in there because it's awfully bright to me. But yes, I destroyed 2 Charlotte Tilbury brushes. Please don't tell her. She'll send the blush police out for me. Okay, that's blushes. And in the bottom drawer I have nail tools, brushes for masks, and all of my masks. Stay in there. There's my little... Oh, I just can't work this camera. There's my little Tata Harper, like that, and lots of other goodies. Over here you see I have empties I'm collecting, and that makes up my little makeup area. Okay, so here is the front of this metal contraption. Here that is metal, and it has several drawers, and they have these giant rings, and they swivel 90 or all the way that you want them to swivel. So in the first top drawer I have odds and ends eye things. For example, you can see I've saved boxes from Birchbox to reuse. I'm such a silly recycler. But in this bin I have my Anastasia brow wiz, which I do like and use every day, and an eyelash curler. And I have this Bobbi Brown little thing for eyebrows, which I use too. And then I have my favorite eyeliners that I pull out regularly, Marc Jacobs and It Cosmetics and so forth. And back in this other box I have pencils that I have bought that I think I'm going to use, but somehow I just don't. You know how that is. Some Chanel and some Urban Decay and some Charlotte Tilbury and some Bobbi Brown. Here's a Mally. And then at the back I have my pencil sharpeners. Here's another container that I think something weird came in that, and I saved it because, you know, someday something may fit in that. I'll just recycle it. Here I have my Burt's Bees I use to remove boo-boos. I have a backup Charlotte Tilbury mascara. I have my giant Bic. Every girl needs a giant Bic, you know what I mean? And this is for my candles. And I have other mascaras that I don't really like. So these containers are freezer boxes. Probably way overpriced, but they fit this cabinet nicely. And this one is actually a double, and underneath it I have more junk that I don't use. But because these drawers are so deep, I needed to elevate what was in it so I could see it better. So that's the top drawer. The second drawer contains all the foundations and primers and things. In the front I have another box I've recycled with some other containers in it. I have the pore things and the what do you call them? The primer. No, the eyelid primers. That's it. The primer potion. Several that I've bought and some that I have been given. And I did buy this Kiehl's thing that Wayne said we should have. And so far I'm saying, Wayne, I love you. You're personable, you're funny, you're interesting, you're very knowledgeable. But I think you might be trying to sell me a bill of goods on this, because the micro blur is not doing much for my blurs. These are my shimmer toppers, whatever you call them, Wonder Glow. I have the one by Chanel and it smells, but I could use it some. In this container I have this Edward Best stuff. It doesn't say it, but it must be it says it's an ultra dewy Complexion Perfector. But to me it's more like a BB cream because it doesn't really have much coverage. I use it occasionally. This product, this MAC concealer, it's almost used up. I like the fact that it is liquid. I'm trying to do as many, liquids as I can. And these are sort of, this is the Cover FX. I'm not really in love with that either. Here's the Prep and Prime. Not too in love with that either. In the back, on the right hand side, I have powders, base powders and samples of things that I've received. A little Bobbi Brown, Laura Mercier. There's even a little Amore Pacific sample in there. But it's the wrong color for me, so I'm probably not going to use it. And I have a backup to the IT CC cream, which I absolutely adore, except for that first ingredient. This is a spoiler alert. If you have feelings about ingredients, don't look at the first or second ingredient in this product. Oh, it's the second ingredient. Don't look, don't look. And in this container I have liquids, and I have my however you say it the way you want to. It's a cream, and I was too cheap to buy the real container, so I bought a refill, so it lives in cardboard. And my new Bare Minerals, which I like. And I have some Ellis Voss. And I have some other things in there. And that would be my foundation drawer for foundation drawers. Do foundations have drawers? I don't know. Surely do. They do right here. And the third drawer, this is the Big Whopper eyeshadow drawer. This container has all these mineral eyeshadows. Most of them are from Madison Street Beauty. I have a few in here from samples from the All Natural Face. And I think there's some vapors in here too. I'm not sure. I don't ever use these guys, and I really should. I tell myself every day, why don't you try to do that? I talk to myself a lot, huh? And then next to it would be bigger palettes. The All Natural Eyes palette came in a one of those boxes, one of those subscription boxes. And I got a Too Faced, and I have a Full Exposure, and I have the famous Narcissist. I use this guy a lot. Is he in the camera? There he is. And then these are my Z palettes. With this one has my Inglots. And then over here in this other container, I have some more. And the Natural Pity. That's what I need. A lot of Natural Pity. From Big Cosmetics, love that one. Use that a lot. I got a Meat Matte. I got the Chocolate. I got the Naked. I got this nice Kiko palette that my friend Uta sent me. One of them died on the way over, but it's okay. And a little Catrice palette that I believe Miss Angela sent me. Okay. And the Laura Mercier. But you can see I don't use all of them. And in the front box, again, another something that came in the mail to hold. I have my two Tom Fords. This big guy, Buck Wild from Be a Bombshell Cosmetics. I've never even used that little sucker there. Maybe someday I'll use that. And then I have my Chanel from the famous Chanel-a-thon. And I love this Charlotte Tilbury. Whoops. That's just divine. Okay, so that is the third drawer. And the next drawer is a hodgepodge of junk. My Growing Cream foundation, cream eyeshadows. I got a bunch of Bobbi Browns. I got a couple of MACs and a couple of Smashbox. Another box I'm saving for some good reason, a little Aveeno pack for materials. And in the bottom drawer I have hair junk and other junk and another funky container. That's got to hold something. So that is my go-to right-hand metal drawers from the Container Store. And on the top I have my glosses. Yes, believe it or not, this is all the glosses that I own. And that's way too many. But I'll only share with you that my favorite is Charlotte Tilbury. I think it's the High Society. I've actually used some of that, as you can see. And I keep those right there to try to remind myself to use them. And on the top, I have these two little sculpture things, really heavy. And that is made from car parts. Believe it or not, metal. I discovered this artist when I was getting my car fixed, believe it or not. So he made me a little baby to go with it. And Mom got one for Mother's Day. So we have mother and baby. Aren't they cute? So that is to the right of me when I sit.
And that will conclude our tour of the boudoir and my spectacular collection. I hope you had fun. I'm not sure about you, but I am exhausted. But since this video went on so long, we're going to cut the part about flying and we'll do just a little bit of singing at the end. This is a little clip from a recent production of the musical Annie, done by a special ed cast at one of our community centers. And yes, I'll admit it, I'm a proud mama. So I hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching. Bye.